This is your girl, Michelle.
Gosh, I'm obviously too excited. But yes, this is Mariah.
Melanin Voices, coming to you all the way from New York City, and Mariah is in Denver, Colorado. And we partnered together to bring you guys this wonderful podcast that brings millennial voices to the stage. Mariah, do you want to talk about why we did the podcast, or what made you want to do the podcast with me?
Yeah, we're just trying to give millennials a voice because, as Michelle will state, in society, well, not in society, but on social media, it's very hard to be yourself and to vent because things are taken personally. Michelle will get more into that later, but for the most part, we just wanted to give voices to millennials and just get their viewpoints onto an actual feed that allow them to be in a safe space. That's what we wanted to allow for millennials, is a safe space where they can talk, where they can vent, where they can begin a conversation and grow from there. And I decided to do this with Michelle. Well, she decided to do this with me, and I decided to take her up on the offer because I just felt like we had a lot to bring to the table together. So I'm super excited about starting this. So yeah.
Yeah, me too. So our podcast, Melanin Voices, is really for everyone's voice. So we're going to definitely be asking for all of our friends, all of our families, anyone who really wants to hear about the things that we tackle and the ideas that we discuss. We really want to hear your voices. So all of your comments, all of your suggestions is definitely be something that we talk about during our podcast, because it is all about kind of sharing our own opinions, and then as well as helping each other and being a team to hopefully motivate and encourage one another to be better and be successful in today's society, because we all know it's rough, for sure.
All your exes are put into a room like a little booby trap. And they all had to come to an agreement about one thing or a few things about you. What do you think they will all agree upon about you?
Do I have to go first?
Yep. Glad you asked, Michelle. Yes, you do.
I want to go first.
I personally, if I see something green coming out somebody's genitals, I'm not going to proceed with the sexual act. It's not that deep.
It wasn't like because I wanted nice mixed babies, as they say now these days. Like, get it together, y'all. But it was because I love him. And so when I'm listening to these different things, it's like, no, we found each other on college campus, like at school, and it's because I love him. It had nothing to do with our race. As we connected, we had good conversation. We made a point to talk to each other daily.
How often are you hungry?
I'm honestly not often hungry because I think a lot of people mistake like hunger for dehydration. I don't know if you growing up, but when I was growing up, if I wake up like in the middle of the night to get a snack and my mom or my dad catch me and I tell them I'm hungry, they're going to tell me, no, you're thirsty. Drink some water and go to bed. And I didn't understand it then, but now I really understand. Like, most people, when they say they're really hungry, they're really not hungry. I think they're more thirsty.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mariah. The cost of living is really high, and since we are, especially me, new graduates, like I wouldn't be in a rush to pay for rent as soon as I graduate. Let me get my job, let me get my feet wet, let me get secured, and then I'll move out.
In my opinion, I don't really like to go into the past in general because we're getting older now anyway, so it's like everyone basically has a past. Everyone's been in 3-4 relationships anyways by now. So for me to go in and go through every last person you've been with, I think that's corny. And I think guys that do that's kind of corny. For one, I wouldn't want you to do that to me. But for two, it's like I said, we're getting older. You shouldn't really care. As long as you guys are here in this moment and you guys mess with each other. Because what she went through with that last person, that might have made her who she is now. So if she never went through that, you probably wouldn't have the girl you are with now.
Hey, this is your girl, Michelle.
And this is Mariah, also known as Mariah Amazing.
And you are tuned into Melanin Voices. Hey!
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
So it is our anniversary. So those are the clips that you're hearing because we've made it, and those are some of our favorite clips that we've had this past year doing Melanin Voices.
Yeah, it's our anniversary, and I can't believe how fast it went. Didn't it seem like it went by fast?
Yeah, it went by pretty fast. I'm like, damn, it's already our anniversary. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm proud of us and our consistency. And if you've been listening from day one, we really appreciate you. We also appreciate our new listeners, but we really appreciate our people who've been with us since, what was our first episode?
It's about infidelity, and we were like
Infidelity,
basing it off of Lawrence and Issa from Insecure.
Oh yeah, our stuff was like a lot about Insecure. It was that one, and then I think people's favorites. I've seen people who came talk to me were the interracial relationships when Mikkel was on.
I think
everyone loved
that's
that
literally
episode.
the one I always get talked to about, and then the whole stage with Lamar. Those are the only two like that people are like, "Hey, I heard that one."
I know people y'all just want drama. Like it sounds like because people say I heard the interracial because it's political, it's drama. But come on now, it's okay.
We got other good topics too.
I know. Tune in. But thank you guys so much. It's our anniversary. It's our first year anniversary for Melanin Voices. And
so happy.
We're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it up.
And keep it consistent like we've been doing, which has been hard, but so worth it.
So worth it. So, well, let's go ahead and get into our Melanin Media, of course, like we always do.
Okay.
And I specifically chose these Melanin Medias because I feel like this is what's kind of trending or what I've noticed lately that's been happening. And the first one is the family. So there was a wife and a father. They had 13 kids who lived in California. And basically, they chained their kids to the bed. They chained their kids to the bed. I don't know if you guys ever...
I'm still stuck on chaining their kids to the bed.
Yeah, so basically the kids were chained to their beds. They had 13 kids, and they never let them outside. They were feces. They never let them off the bed. They were sleeping in their urine and their feces for a long time. And the only way that only reason why people found this out is because one of the kids broke out through the window and called somebody on a cell phone to the police and reported their parents.
That is insane. So, like, what happened? That's crazy.
So, basically, she climbed out the window, and then now the parents are facing a life in prison, of course, which they should have been facing. They should be facing life in prison.
Absolutely.
But now those kids are really traumatized. Their kids were as old as 30 plus. And they were chained to the bed. And the thing is that with these two parents that were living in California, they had 13 kids, so they were claiming that their house was a school, basically. So that's why they, usually stuff gets reported if the kids go to school and things like that. But nope. Even the neighbor was just now saying, oh, I used to see the kids, they used to come outside to do the lawn, but they look really pale, really look like they haven't been eating. But it's like, what took you so long to say something? I would have reported that. And then she said that's the only time she ever seen the kids.
So crazy. That reminds me of, I don't know if you guys know about this, but I know I had a psychology class, and they were talking about how this girl, well, my teacher was talking about how this girl was like, I don't know, her parents like put her in a closet most of her life, and so when they finally let her like migrate to society, she was all messed up because she had lived in a closet for the majority of her life, so she didn't know about the outside world. She had no like real good cognitive skills, no really much of a personality because she was locked up in the closet for majority of her life. I think she got out when she was in late middle school, but from childbirth to middle school, she was in the closet.
It is crazy. And people are really psychotic. So you just never know. And if you're, it's important that I know some people, we have been very private nowadays where your neighbors aren't too much in your business. But as a neighbor, like, you have to be more aware and just report things, even if you're suspicious, because you just never know what's happening. Those kids have been locked to their beds for a long time.
Like that bystander effect when people see stuff but they don't say nothing type of thing.
Right. And then when it comes up, then what? Then it's like, oh, I did know this. Right. So it's like and I'm like, I don't know what's with these parents. If you guys want to look it up, it's called, just look up the 13 children who were locked in the bed in California, the parents. And basically they were dressing their kids up as little kids for the rest of it. Like, they kept on dressing them up as if they were 2 years old.
They're really sick. Creepy. They're disgusting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I think one of the kids had a kid, and I think it's not from the mother. I think it was from either the siblings. They was either making the siblings have, you know, fornicate, or the father was molesting. So it's really sad.
Yeah.
But
let's
anyway,
move on.
yeah, let's move on because it's a little bit like crazy. Another thing is I've seen a lot of women mad about this, but there has been a new there's a new porn
Oh
doll that
yeah,
looks like
I've
a
seen
real
it.
human.
I'm so late but to the game, but
You
yes,
heard
I
about
did
it?
see it
You
yesterday,
seen
and I'm
it?
like, wow, okay. They was making fun of it on Twitter. You know how Twitter is, but yes.
Yeah, of course. But there's a lot of people who were mad. They were like,
Like, boy,
y'all hoes
bye,
better get it together or something." They had said something crazy. And they were like saying that these
boy,
dolls are
bye.
like,
Get your
you know,
doll and
y'all
shut
want to
up.
do what the
Just live
doll
in
will.
peace. Like, don't make us try to do the extra to try to please you. Like, just get your doll and do you, boo.
Like real booty, real feelings,
Yeah, all that.
and all that. Mouth, all that. You know what? It's really sad, honestly. It's really sad. But hey, y'all, I think men will really want to buy this. I really believe that.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel like someone would go out and get it.
But how can.
There's been jokes, but I think someone would be real serious about it.
No, but honestly, like, do you think this could have like, an unconscious effect on how men treat women? If, like, with these dolls? You think if it's.
I mean, some of them already treat us like.
Right.
But anyways, I do think it could get worse. I honestly do, because it's like, well, my doll don't talk back.
Right. Or I can slap my doll with,
Type
you know, with my thing if I want to. Slap her and do whatever you want with her.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it could just be way worse. That's.
Can you imagine walking in? Okay, so let's say you were dating a dude and you was at his house, you went to the bathroom or whatever, and let's say he had a closet and you thought it was like, no, let's say you thought the closet was the bathroom and you opened the closet door and the doll was there. Like, what would you do?
I would think do you, but I would be kind of freaked out by it, only for the simple fact that it's like, first of all, it looks real. So after I got the whole shock of it not being a real person, I would be like, wow, this is really sad that you had to resort to this. You know?
Right. Would you still talk to him?
Are we boyfriend, girlfriend, or we just talking? Are we dating?
It's a date.
Or it's just our first date?
Yeah, it's just a date. Would you go on a second
second
date? Or you'd be like, that's kind of creepy. I'm not going on a second date.
I think I would think that it's creepy. I'm not going to lie. I would think that I wouldn't want a second date with him. Like, I wouldn't be interested in speaking to him because I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not judging your sexuality and how you move, but I personally would be creeped out to the point that I wouldn't be able to get over that. And I wouldn't want to be like always thinking about it and making you feel bad about it. So I just would remove myself in the situation.
Yeah, I feel you. If Jeff ever came at me like, yo, I'm trying to get this doll, I would be like, you and that dog can go somewhere.
Get out.
Yeah, take your doll with you. Yeah, I'd be creeped out. Would women have? I mean, they might start creating some men dolls. So who knows?
Maybe. Do they have it? I don't know if they have it.
Imagine if you had a real man doll, like on hard. That was just ready.
I wouldn't want that. I just want to be a real man. Because then after you're done with your sexual act, like, what is he really going to be there for? Like, to support you emotionally? I'm a talker, so I had to communicate with my boyfriend. I'd be like, hey,
like, listen,
babe, guess what happened today? You can't even talk to me.
That's true. But most men don't be wanting to listen, no way.
They act like that. But I want you to at least act like you care. Act like you listen to me.
Dog.
The dog can't act like they listen to me.
Right.
The dog gonna be just sitting there like,
right.
It's not conscious, so it can't do nothing.
That's cool. I mean, honestly, you can't, would you compare that to like a dildo though? Because that's like the same concept, right? But it would be like a full body.
Yeah. True.
And it'll be like, turn it on.
I guess you could compare it to a dildo. Technically speaking. But I don't know, like, what's the point of buying a $3,000 dog? Aren't they like $3,000?
Yeah,
what's the point of buying them if they're not like? I don't know. I guess it's a cheap date in the long run, because now you don't have to like buy dinner all the time, buy a gift for Valentine's Day. It's just like, oh, whatever. That's probably how they're figuring it.
Right. This world is just really just something else. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Eventually, we're going to have to be competing with robots, Mariah. So
that's just weird. I don't understand why you want to create a new species that's may want to overthrow you later on. That's dumb. Like that's why I think about that. I think of what's that Will Smith movie? I Am Legend
or iRobot.
iRobot.
I Am Legend is when he's in the world by himself.
Wow, why is it I Am Legend? Wow,
Yeah.
I'm Robot or it's something with the robots, and that just made me. Every time we talk about that and them creating new robots and everything to help us out, quote unquote, I just think about that robot.
There's this place called there's a show called Westworld. I'm not sure if anybody's seen it, but it's basically a place that had dolls and you can go in and it's a whole virtual reality. Well, not virtual reality, it's a real reality with robots, and you can actually like have sex and you can do whatever you want with the dolls. And they're real robots and they feel like real people. But it's crazy. Anyways, it's crazy. Anyway, next topic. Which is the one which is gonna.
They're like, what are y'all doing today?
Right? I'm just saying. I know. They're like, what's wrong with y'all? But the topic. Only reason why I'm excited to talk about this next person is because this is what led me to talk about the topic that we're going to talk about today. Is Tracy Ellis. If you don't know who Tracy Ellis is, she's the star mother on Blackish. Her and Anthony Anderson. I think it's Anthony Anderson. Is that his name? Okay. Yeah. They both are parents on Blackish. And I guess just recently she just found out that she's getting paid significantly less than her co-host. Well, not her co-host, but her male co-peer or whatever. And a lot of people have raised a lot of awareness about it, about the whole thing with women being paid less. And you also see that this show has been on the air for about 5 seasons now. Yeah. So she's been getting paid significantly less. So I just wanted to talk about going into the topic, which it's funny because she just posted something today on Instagram regarding the article that was out about the whole gender gap thing that happened between her and Anthony. And she's explaining it in a way that doesn't seem like she's upset, but more so in a way that it's time for her to renegotiate about her salary and what everyone else is making as well on the show. So our hot topic today is the gender pay gap. And I just wanted us to kind of come together specifically. I don't want to allocate it specifically towards women, but I do because we are the main ones that kind of have this issue. And how can we make sure that we're securing the bag as women? It is a time where more women are working today than ever. We're not at home anymore like how we used to be, but we also need to be making the same or even more money than our male counterparts. So just wanted to go ahead and go into that. And my first question was, have you ever had to fight for a wage increase at work? Mariah, have you?
Have I ever had to fight for a wage increase at work? As far as, I can say fight, but I say we have opportunities to ask for one because we have an annual review at my job where you can sit down with your manager, your overseer in your department and sit down with them and talk about your increase. So what they would do is basically tell you what you're getting, and obviously you can always say how you feel about it if you feel like you deserve more or you feel like that's correct. So that's when your opportunity lies, was during the annual review for us anyways. So have I had the chance to? Yes. When I did have the chance to, did I ask for a raise at the time? No, because I thought it was fair for the work that I do in the department that I'm in. So I didn't battle it. If that answers the question.
It did.
Okay, cool. Have you?
Yes, and on multiple occasions I've had. And for the first time I asked for the increase was very scary. I was in a position where I knew I was getting paid less, and I live in New York City. So I need to make sure that I can live in New York City, and that means I need to be paid what I need to be paid to be able to stay. And the job I was currently at, I had took the job. My first job that when I moved to New York City actually paid more than the second job that I ended up taking because I was so ready to leave my second job that I was willing to take the pay, the loss in pay for the second job. So either way, I was like, okay, I'll take this loss of pay until my evaluation, and then I'm going to speak up about, I think I need to. I knew I was worth more, and I was doing more work than what they were paying me to do. So I did end up fighting it and sitting in a room and combating. Well, basically putting out my argument of why I needed to get paid more, I was losing. Like, I knew they were basically telling me, like, no, this is what you're going to get. We're giving you an increase. They were not giving me an increase. The increase was a little bit, and it was not enough. And I was like, nope. So what I did was, I left that meeting literally about to cry, because I was like, there's no way this is fair. And thank God I have a partner in my corner who told me that if they don't give you the increase that you want, then quit. Like, put your 2 weeks in. You need to I needed to be stronger in knowing my worth and knowing that they needed me more than I needed them. And he told me, put your 2 weeks in. So the next day was what I did was I called in and took the day off for the next day. Because they knew I was upset after I left the meeting. And I told them, like, you know what? Business is business. I understand. If you can't give me the increase, then, you know what? Just forget it. I'll take it, whatever. I'll take what you give me, and I'm good. And I took the next day off. So, long story short, the next day I came in, they end up accepting my increase. So,
Oh, nice.
it was a breath of fresh air, but it was definitely hard to do in the beginning, because I was like, you know what? I know I need this increase, and I end up getting it. So I'm so happy I stood up for myself, but I'm also more happy that I had a partner in my corner to tell me, like, you don't need this job. Like, put your 2 weeks in tomorrow. You know, if they don't accept what you are offering.
Yeah, some people don't have that. But you brought up an interesting point that I wanted to touch on about the whole the pay gap in the states. So I got this source from Business Insiders back in 2015, so it's a bit dated, but not too much dated. The gender pay gap varies widely depending on the state. And so states like Louisiana and Wyoming have a bigger pay gap, like 30 to 35% pay gap as far as gender pay gap. And then states like Oklahoma and Utah have a pay gap of 26 to 30%, whereas Texas and Michigan have a pay gap of 21 to 25%. Colorado and Georgia have a pay gap of like 16 to 20%, whereas states like California, New York, and Florida, theirs is the least pay gap between 10 and 15%, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder what the dynamic is that, you know,
Me too.
like, what's the difference, or what these people are doing differently than other people in different states.
Right. I wonder what that was too. They didn't touch on that. But that'd be interesting to know what like the difference is. Like you said, you had to demand more because you live in, and like you said, California and New York, those are two states that the income and the economy is just like not catching up yet. And so since you have to fight to live where you are, you probably have that adrenaline to, like, I gotta ask you for this. I have to push you on this, because if I don't, then my means of living is gonna be
the
worse
cost
than
of
what
living
it is.
It probably is, because it's like, if you know that you can get by with what you have, then you're probably less likely to fight for a higher increase. Is it morally right? No.
Right.
I don't think so. But it's important that I think that we're speaking about it today, because more people probably are. You never know if you're getting paid less than the man that's in the same position as you.
Same position.
So anyway, so the next question was, how do you base the salary? I mean, how do you base your salary on when you're applying for a job, basically? So when you're looking for a job, and when you're looking, how do you base your, like, how much you want to get paid? Like, your level of, like, I need to get paid this much an hour. I need to get paid this salary.
I'm not gonna lie. I personally, I Google it, like, where is so and so getting paid in Denver or wherever I'm gonna be at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say it's a content manager. I'm like, what do content managers average in Denver? And then I go off that, and I'm like, okay, where's my skill level at? Because it says 60 to 70,000, right? And I'll be like, where do I fit in that threshold? Like, am I a beginner or am I advanced? Like, what can I really bring to the table? I would hate to ask for 70,000 if I'm not bringing in 70,000 skill set. Like, I'm starting from the bottom or whatever. Yeah, realistic, exactly. So I'm not gonna lie, I do Google it just to see what everybody's averaging in the city that I'm going to.
Do
or
you know
looking at.
what website that is? Because I think I know what you're talking about. Let's see if I can look it up real quick.
Let me see. I don't know if there's a specific site, but let me see. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people do that too. Like that, I think that's very smart. Is you look up Glassdoor.
I want to say Glassdoor if you wanted to see,
Yeah.
but it like tells you like each company too. Like it breaks it down by company. Like if you're applying for which company. So.
Yeah, I think So looking up so you basically look up to see how much that specific position is. Do you look it up by state, like in Colorado or?
Yeah, I look at it by state because I hate to ask for something for New York earnings if I'm about to be in Utah.
Right.
Like, girl, come on now. You can afford to live in Utah. Like, 1,200 bedroom, like 2-bedroom is going to be like a 1-bedroom or a studio in New York, so you can't ask for crazy amount prices. If you're not.
Yeah. So you basically, I'll answer the question too. So you also basically based off the cost of living too.
Yes, the cost of living, the state, all that stuff, which obviously would pin into that. But yeah, based on all that stuff, just be realistic. Like I said, I would hate to sit up here and be moving to Nevada or something, and I'm asking for New York kind of salary.
Even though you can if you want. Shoot your shot.
You can. Absolutely you can. For sure, you definitely can. If you want to do that. And if your skills are worth it and you're making, and even say I live in New York and I'm moving to Nevada for this new job opportunity, I still want to make the same amount I was making in New York, maybe, like I don't want to go down and pay. And like, if you want me to come to your company, then some companies will pay for that.
I say like, I guess
for that. So
shoot your shot and put the bar high for yourself. Cause I think a lot of the times is even right out of college, we go through a real big depression with what we think we're supposed to make out of college, right? Like you have this 4-year degree, you worked really hard, you feel like, oh, I'm supposed to make this much out of the gate, like after graduation, because I have this degree. And knowing that that's not the case, how do you really fight and push to make sure that, you know what, I busted my butt and I got all these student loans, and if you don't pay me enough to even pay back my loans plus live, then what was the point of it all? So you have to, at some point, we have to push for more.
Right.
And it's not easy, but, you got to negotiate. Maybe you shoot for 60 and they say, nah, I can't do 60. And you be like, all right, 57. I'll take 57. Or, give me some benefits. Give me something that is going to help me get to where I need to be. But I think laying it out on the table is important. So I agree. I guess I do the same thing when I'm looking for a job.
Right.
And also for some people, it could be, let's say you've been working in a field for over, 5 years or 3 years. Of course, you have grown experience. So knowing that your experience level has increased and you're better, then you can go to the next job saying, I was making 60, but now I'm looking to make 70 or 72 because I've put in the work and I deserve that much. Right. Have you ever, I know a lot of jobs, like when you're applying, actually to put how much you want. Have you ever seen those before?
Yeah, I have actually. I was actually trying to apply for a job the other day, and they were like, I don't even know how to submit this. I've never seen it before, but they're like, you need to submit your salary requirements. Like we won't even like look at your resume until you tell us your salary requirements. So I'm like, gosh damn, I didn't know that was a thing. Because usually it's just like check the box and like tell us what you want to do or type it in. But they were actually asking you to write something about yourself. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, I've never seen that before. But yeah, the other day I did see it.
Have you ever got to the point where it's like you don't want to put too much because you was like, I want them to consider?
You don't want them not to call back.
You don't want to put less than what it's worth because then you're going to be getting paid less. I think that's it's a real big test when they ask people to do that.
Me too, because they don't tell you what they pay for the position now.
Yeah, they won't.
It's not like, hey, we pay $80K now. You're like, okay, bet that's what I want to make. 80. It's more like, what do you want to make? And it's like, damn, I don't want to say 60,000
Right.
if you would have initially paid me 80,000.
Exactly. And that's how they get you. I think it's all a ball game. That's why it's good to do your research, go on Glassdoor, look how much people have made previously, look at the reviews, look at stuff like that to make sure that companies are willing to pay you what the position is worth. So,
Right.
yeah.
I agree.
So, it's all about skill. I think eventually you build more skill as you continue to apply for jobs, and you know kind of where you want to be. If you're looking to move or you're looking to be where you're supposed to be, and you know like this check ain't getting me there, then you're gonna have to start fighting a little harder for what you need.
True. Do you have any, for people who are like very skeptical, not skeptical, but new to negotiating on price, do you have any suggestions or tips for them? Like, hey, there's some things that worked for me.
Really, what worked for me specifically was to first know my worth and be confident in my worth. So that means when I'm sitting down at my evaluation table and I put the things that, I'm coming on time, I'm doing my job on time, I'm submitting things I'm supposed to. I also have brought new ideas and I brought something new to the table, and I put in that effort. I think it's first important that I come to the table knowing this is your worth, and also knowing that why you came to the position in the second place is another one. Knowing that you didn't come to a job to be complacent. You came to the place because you want to move up or you want to be in a different position. I think if you are looking to be complacent in your position and you want to be in the same position for a numerous amount of years, then I don't recommend you fighting for a bigger salary, because they're going to give you one every year or 2 years. They're going to give you that, 2% increase,
Right.
4% increase. So that's their way of backing up and saying, we do give you an increase for this position. So knowing your worth, knowing what's the main reason why you came to the position in the first place, and you don't go sit down at the table and say, oh, I've been here for 5 years, I deserve $10,000 more. That's not good enough. Because if you've been in a position for 5 years, what else have you done in your position? What else have you done in the company? What else have you did to put yourself apart from the other people who's also in your position or who's in the company? And my third thing would be to do your research. You know where you want to be. You know where you're supposed to be. And especially if you're in a position where, let's say you're a manager or you're a coordinator or you're an administrator, look up the pay for those positions, like how we said in the beginning. Look on Glassdoor, do your research, look on other companies to see what they're paying. Print out what I did. I actually printed out the position, and I seen that it was a 15,000 salary increase than what I was making. I brought that to the table and said, so you telling me you're paying me this, but if I apply here, they're going to pay me this? Why is there a difference? So coming to the table with your research, your worth, and then also where you want to be, and then presenting that to them, and not taking no for an answer, and saying, you know what, if you don't accept my request, that's fine. But you coming there with a piece of paper that says you've done your research about other jobs, that you're actually looking into other jobs, it's also going to spark something in their head to say, oh snap, that she might leave, right? If a company is smart economically, they know it costs more to hire, to bring someone new on, than to leave the person who's there. Because you don't know how long that person is going to stay. The cost of new hire, the cost of background checks, the cost of all that stuff, it costs a company a lot of money just to hire a new employer. So, and it also doesn't look good for their retention rates. So you also have to look at it like from a business perspective and say, you know what, I'm not that easily replaceable. And if you are easily replaceable, then you need to rethink what you're doing, really, because you need to make a bigger impact or do more. So those are my advices on how to really fight for your salary. And I'm not saying it's easy, but you have to come there strictly on some business stuff, or you're going to get basically shut down every time. So those are my tips. Do you have any tips for people?
I don't, guys. I actually don't have any tips besides what Michelle just said, which is,
I kind of said a lot.
yeah, no, I agree with them. Like doing your research, because I personally, when I had my opportunity, like I said, I didn't fight for an increase because I thought it was fair, but I definitely did do my research beforehand. Like, this is what so and so was making. This is what I started at, so I don't want to stay where I started at. That's for sure. So, just knowing about that, and just I guess what I can work on, some tips that I would, I guess, challenge you all to do is not being scared to do your research and not being scared to hear the no, because that's probably what would stop us all is they're gonna say no.
Yeah,
So
fear.
I'm not gonna even try. I'm not gonna do it because they're gonna say no. And if they do say no, like Michelle said, you can know your worth, and then from there you can take a step back. Maybe you don't have a huge support system like Michelle did, which she was very blessed to have, but maybe you have looked into other positions, you've applied to other positions, you know that you could get them if you did apply for them or whatever the case may be. So it's just a matter of, do you want to stay where they don't value you enough to give you an increase, or do you want to leave?
Yeah.
I'm not saying ask for a, a huge, like a $30,000 increase. You only been there for 2 months or whatever the case is, but I'm saying being reasonable in your increase, and they can be reasonable with you to do that increase for you, or at least negotiate a higher price. Then maybe you don't want to work for a
I
company
agree.
like
And
that.
sometimes the best time to negotiate a salary is right before you sign that paper, before you get hired. As soon as they give you that number and says, "Hey, you're gonna be making this month, this amount of money," and you say, "Hey, you know what? I kind of been working really hard. I've done this, and I am going to be a great asset to your team. Can I at least get $5,000 more before I sign this paper?" And
Yeah.
it's not easy, but I do want to encourage everyone, especially women. I'm not biased to men at all, but we are already a lot of us are already at a disadvantage because men are willing to fight a little harder than we are.
Yeah, and they don't have to fight as starting off because they already have that. They're starting from like a higher rate, usually on average.
Yeah, and then they also
And if you
they
want to
fight.
get into it, I got the numbers too. I got the numbers. I got the stats.
You want to share?
Yeah, I sure do.
Share.
So I went to American Association of University Women. Basically, what they are is our nation's leading organization that helps equality for women and girls. If you're not sure what American Association of University Women is, that's what they are. And they did research on this back in 2016. And so basically for Black, Asian, and Hispanic women, they followed the current population survey because the current population survey lacks sufficient sample size for smaller demographics like other people, as in Asian Pacific Islanders and Native American women. So they followed the current population survey for Black, Asian, and Hispanic women, and a different survey for the Asian Pacific Islander and Native American women. Just want to give you guys some background on what I'm about to say. So, anyways, on average, Asian women actually have the smaller gap between pay gap between white men, which they earn 87% to the man's dollar, whereas white women earn 79% to the man's dollar. Black women earn 63% to the man's dollar. Hispanic or Latina women earn 54% to the man's dollar. Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander earn 59%, whereas American Indian or Alaskan Native earn 57% to the man's dollar. So basically, we're already starting off at a disadvantage anyways. And as you hear in that, women of color are really starting off at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So, yes, that is what Michelle is referring to when she says men don't have to fight or fight as hard for their pay increase. And as women would have to.
We want to come to a point, and I know we're getting better because women are ruling in 2018 and they continue to step their game up. So I know we're going to see a difference, but it is also up to us at even a smaller scale, because we see the women at a bigger scale doing it, and a lot of people are rooting for it, but also us women at a smaller scale also have the same advantages that these other women do who are taking advantage of fighting for their increases. And I think we should continue to do the same to keep our heads up and be confident in our abilities to say we deserve the same or more than our male counterparts. So we're so educated nowadays too, so there should be no excuses.
I agree.
We got the credentials. We have our resume is built like that, so we should get paid like that.
I agree. Like, I don't see why
So.
we shouldn't get paid. We did the exact same work, sometimes a little bit better. So, we have the same
Exactly.
degrees and whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as Michelle was saying, we deserve it.
Yeah. And if anyone has like specific questions after listening or wants specific advice on how to really go about, want some coaching in that area when they know they've been working at a company and they want that salary increase, you can definitely reach out to us and let us know, because I'm very open to coaching women on how to get that increase and being that support system that I had, to just get them to that level that they want to be at. So, yes, let me know.
Let her know.
All right, cool. So, any Snapchat convos this week?
Yes, I'm doing my Snapchat to Insta combo. So on Instagram,
Snapchat and
I did
Insta.
have a little survey. I feel like they're good for yes and no answers, and since we did have yes or no answer, here we go. Our first question was a yes or no answer, which was, have you had to ask for a pay increase at work? And my two answers were, I've done it, and no, I haven't had to. And it literally was 50-50. 50-50. So 6 people voted for I've done it, and another 6 voted for no, I haven't had to. And to bounce off of that, somebody that voted for no, I haven't had to was a woman, and her name is Sandra, and her Instagram name is Sandra Saundra Maestras Maestas, and she basically said, "No, I haven't, but I want to." And then I asked her, like, "Are you controlled like a district? Like, are you not sure how?" And she got into it. She said, "I think it's a district, only allowed to ask during review or to hire." And she said, "I work at Denver Health, and it's federal funded and state funded." So that's why she said that. And then I went over to Snapchat Combos, where, of course, Claudia chimed in.
Shout out to
Claudia. She said that basically, if you want to raise in my job, you just have to switch jobs. As an assistant teacher, we're salaried, but also hourly, and they never pay me more than 7 hours unless previously approved. The raise we recently got was because the district gave the okay, but you can't personally go in and ask for a raise. The pay is as it is. So that's what she said for her job.
There's a lot of, so it sounds like there's some government restrictions.
So basically, no, but they would like to.
That are based off funding and things like that, which could also, I can see that being a lot in people who work in like nonprofit organizations or people who do receive like specific funding. But
Right.
I think if you are in a position where you want to get paid more, like I said in the beginning, it's just a matter of thinking about your purpose and where you want to be. On a level, like, let's say you're doing this position literally because you need the experience for 2 years before you look into a different position, you could definitely do that. Because I know when you work for like government stuff, it is easier to move up in a position. Not sure for like the TA thing, if you want to be a teacher, it's a little more like you have to get your certification, you have to do a little bit more to get that increase. But there's always a way, as long as you have a purpose on moving up. But if you don't, then there's no point of fighting the salary increase. That's what I think. But I really appreciate our Snapchat and Insta combos.
Me too. It gives us some insight into what you guys feel. So please continue to give us your opinions on it, because me and Michelle can sit here and talk to her blue in the face, but we like to hear from you guys as well. So
exactly.
Yep.
Cool. Do we have a Black Business of the Week this week, or are we kind of skipping that out?
I'm not skipping. I'm going to touch back on your cousin. Did you find out what the address was?
Oh, I did. Okay. Let me get it.
If you guys didn't listen last week,
and again,
it is Michelle's cousins decided to open up a Black business in Colorado. It's a bridal shop here, and they'll be selling dresses. It'll be kind of like a Kleinfeld's of Denver. So go there for your bridal dresses, your bridesmaids dresses. They will hook y'all up. Support. And we're just telling you guys where the address is, because last week we weren't sure exactly where it was at. So she's gonna let us know, so you'll be able to go there and look at the new business and support as much as you can.
I'm so proud of them. Like, bro.
Me too, man. That's
and
really
so many
good.
of my friends are like getting married, and I've seen a lot of people getting proposed to and married, and blah blah blah. Okay, here it is. The address is. It is located at 20 West 84th Avenue, Suite 200, Thornton, Colorado 80260. So
Okay.
look them up. It is Platinum Bridal. And if you look them up on Facebook, it's two gorgeous Black women in the pictures, and they're doing their thing. So super proud of them. Platinum Bridal, y'all. Look it up. But yeah, that is.
If you go on our Facebook,
our double business of the week. Yeah. So there's the address. So if you guys are interested or want to go check them out, I strongly recommend it.
Yes, please do, you guys. I mean, like Michelle was saying, a lot of people that are engaged. So even if you aren't engaged yourself, I'm sure you can suggest somebody to go there to support. So.
Yep. Perfect. Any last minute notes? No. I know the football game is on, so I'm gonna try to watch it. I'm excited because I just love football during the playoffs.
So going to get some food so he can come back to it. So he's ready too.
Like snacks on board. So yeah, well, I'm gonna let you go. I'm going to get my life together because it's Sunday. So I'll also, you guys already know to find us on Melanin Voices everything, because that's what we do. Or go ahead and email us at melaninvoices1@gmail.com. And if you want your voice on the podcast, you already know we are always welcome to put you on.
Yeah, let us know.
All right, we out.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for sticking in there.
Peace.